Well, hey everybody. My name is Jared Malott, and
My name is Mateo Caliz.
this is the Coltist, episode 26, the Rock Sin episode.
Yeah, should we
Big
call it
fan of
like
Rock
the
Sin.
memorial episode, like
Yeah,
what
in
is it like?
memoriam, the former.
The farewell episode.
No, hey, Rock Sin was a hell of a prospect coming out of college. If I remember correctly, he was one of the very few cornerbacks to ever get an award at Rutgers for being like the toughest player on the team. It typically is going to go to a big boy, right? Because those aren't losing fights, right? But when it goes to a cornerback, that tells you how was it either
Yeah, I
strongest?
remember.
Was he
No,
strongest on the team or what?
no, I believe it was. First of all, I believe he came out of Temple
Oh,
University, if I
Temple, not
remember
Rutgers.
correctly. It
Damn,
was Temple. And I remember the story was like they gave like single-digit numbers to
single
like the
digit numbers.
toughest
That's what it
players
was.
of the team. And
Mhm,
he got a single-digit number at cornerback, which I remember it was something like really special. He
mhm.
also had like a wrestling background, and he was like, great player, supposedly a great guy to have in the locker room. So yeah, we're gonna miss him.
Yeah.
All the best to him in the what is he like in Las Vegas now with the Raiders.
Mhm. And then
Hopefully he
in
do
this
great things there.
NFL, you just need bodies to throw at the position at corner. They're total liabilities. These offenses are insane. They don't call anything at the line. They rub. They screen the hell out of guys, double and triple screen. You watch it all day. You watch back film. You're like, how's that legal? And they never call that shit. So in my eyes, the safety is like super important. So I'm surprised here the Colts haven't made a move for Honey Badger. I cannot say his name correctly. Tyrann Mathieu, I believe
No,
is
yeah,
how you
that
say it.
seems right.
It
Yeah.
seems correct, but I love the fucking Honey Badger is a badass nickname. If you've ever watched the Nat Geo Honey Badger taking on a Cobra,
Yeah, it's probably like
you understand why
the
that's such a
most
badass nickname.
the most badass name you can have as a secondary player.
Yeah, as a safety. Um, or I guess like a nickel safety. But anyway, I think the personalities are starting to matter more for the Colts because they're such a young team overall. Like when you just are going to add 8 new bodies plus whatever they pick up through undrafted. And from my thought process, they're trying to solve what you can through free agency without blowing your wad so you can sign your entire rookie
Yeah.
class and not have to pass on guys that you would like to stash perhaps, right? Like maybe like a tight end that you're like, fuck, he's a good athlete. Like I don't want to let you go, bro, because you're gonna get picked up and used, right? I need you on my practice squad. Like, think you need money for that. So that's how I think the Colts are now is like have to think like we could just be dumbass young. We got Yannick
Yeah,
Ngakoue.
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, and I think with the addition of him, if he stays healthy and is like a decent enough pass rush, Matt Ryan can stay upright behind what I perceive to be a better offensive line than he's been in. So that's one of the things I noticed when I went and looked at Matt Ryan's career is, first of all, he plays every down. Every year that he's been in the league, well, since 2012, he's played like 98% of every play of every game. That's super consistent. Hasn't been like a Pro Bowl player, but he's had like 5 or more seasons of a 10 or more wins. So he's accustomed to success. And then I noticed also he's had 3 out of 4 years with 10 or more wins. So he's also accustomed to having like successive seasons of like
Yeah,
good football. So
successful
that's
seasons
not like a
playing
one.
soft
He's not
football.
got
Yeah,
he had a one good season, and I hate to keep bringing up Carson Wentz. Like
yeah.
more than
But
fucking good luck to you, bro, in
the
Washington,
comparison is fair.
right? But when you think about what you are gonna need, what you are going to need, right? The next time you have a first round draft pick, if you're not solidifying the trenches, offensive line, or reaching again for a pass rusher, because, and from my perspective, it is if you can stop the opposing pass rush and then generate one on your own, in addition to just simply matriculating the football down the field, giving yourself regular opportunities to score, like with this sort of defense, you add a defensive playmaker, probably going to be really tough in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. And again, I'm not talking about they need all these different free agents. No, they need to solve for the offensive line, and then I think you need a playmaker on the back end on defense, and then some guys to step up. I think, plus a little injection of youth.
I don't think the offensive line is that bad. I believe that I believe Matt Pryor is an upgrade over Eric Fisher, at least in the pass
Oh,
protection department.
he was terrible. Eric Fisher had such a bad season. They
Eric
bet
Fisher,
big on
yeah,
him
was
too.
really, really bad. And I believe that when Matt Pryor was in, the offensive line seemed much more solid. Hopefully, Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly are like back at 100.
Yeah.
Because you could see last season that they were not playing at full strength. Quentin with that ankle injury, Ryan Kelly with, all the issues he had.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're back at full strength and Danny Pinter can come in and play like solid ball at right guard, Braden Smith back to full health again, you
Yeah.
have like recently a top 7, top 5 offensive line easily. Add in Jonathan Taylor, you have some decent weapons in Michael Pittman, hopefully Paris Campbell.
He's an every down wide receiver. So you have that, which is requisite in a good offense, especially if you are solved at running back. And I think I'd argue the Colts, even because I believe Marlon Mack, God bless him, Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah. So the Colts have Taylor and Hines. And then recently it's come out. So I guess that's a little bit of Colts news to talk about. Recently it's come out. Hines has to be more involved in the offense. If it ain't something we've been talking about here, where we sat here and said, like, man, year prior with Phillip Rivers, Hines was lethal and didn't feel like he was getting any love. And we even looked, no, he was getting the same amount of touches. It's like the touches weren't the quality touches he was used to with a little bit of wiggle room. He was getting the ball too late.
Different, you were having like from Phillip Rivers, who threw the check down like really well, and he was getting him in space. You go from that to Carson Wentz, where you see some of his throws like in the short routes or to Naheem were just like a little bit off. And in the short game, I believe that kills you. You need to be deadly accurate in the short game. You can't afford like an inch to the left, an inch to the right, and makes all the difference in the world. You need to be like
100%. You got to be
perfect.
My dad used to tell me when I was a kid, across all sports, drive for show, putt for dough.
Yeah.
Drive for show. Like, yes, you would love to be able to hit a golf ball 300 yards. Yes. But you know what's vitally important is your ability to take one extra shot to put that ball onto the green to give yourself a good shot to hit a birdie, right? And then you could take it on any other aspect in any other sport and just spread that out, right? Everybody wants to shoot the fucking 3, right? But you had better be able to hit free throws. You better be able to hit layups, right? And then when it comes to playing quarterback at the NFL level, in my opinion, you must be able to hit all of the timing routes, all of the slants, all of the quick outs, all of the bubbles, all of your what I call a now screen, which is a step back screen to the outside receiver to get the ball to the apron. If they're in cover 4 and you could tell just the safeties are bailing and the corners are bailing, you need to get rid of the ball quick, give somebody in space an opportunity to do something. That's like how I play football, right? Like I want to solve for X. I believe X is the guy that is the farthest way from somebody that's going to make that tackle. Right. And just give him an opportunity, get as far downfield as you can, and then sauce on a motherfucker. I don't care. Right. Like whatever happens, baby. That's what we pay big money for. I would prefer if you just win and score. Right. Like whatever that is. And generally it is the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Right. But it's very hard to get people to understand, take what you can get. Right. Lots of the people, especially guys that play at my level, which I would call collegiate level, maybe not just like collegiate athletes, but like collegiate level athletes, that every time they touch the ball, it's the last time they'll touch it is sort of the thought process. And I can't imagine being paid millions to play and then catching a ball at fucking full speed and nobody's anywhere near me. I'm having a panic attack talking about it, right? Like, yeah, I could totally imagine it's probably a train wreck, right? Is why I play quarterback. I can just get rid of it. Balls away. I put my hands up. If he hits me, it's a penalty. You know what I mean? Like that's that's exactly what I'm. That's serious. Like I'm old. I got a heater, but like I'm old. But yeah, when we watch film of me, you'll see. We'll watch a little film here. But I want to make sure we talk about the Colts. It's relevant. As far as the NFL goes, let's make it a point on our podcast to not denigrate the dead and instead say, hey, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. That was a very unfortunate thing to happen to somebody that you really kind of hoped got an opportunity. He never did anything wrong. He had a great collegiate career. I think he sort of revolutionized at least Ohio State's offense and made them more of from my perspective, they adopted the Alabama offense as a result of a guy like Dwayne Haskins with just a cannon. So obviously, to move on from there, this also being episode 26, big Sean Taylor fan. So obviously he's number 26 as well. But I was looking at, I'm a big statistics guy. I think the data tells you everything you need to know. I think that if you wondered why the Colts went after a guy like Matt Ryan and why a 3rd round draft pick is a steal for Matt Ryan, go look at his Pro Football Reference. Look at things like completion percentage for the career. 65.5% is like a 1/5 of a percent better than Peyton Manning. And I hate to say it like that, like that carries any weight, but I've started to realize as a result of playing football myself, especially at my age, and he and I are like very close to the same age.
Yeah, very close in age. Yeah.
I'm 38, about to be 39. He's 37 and 328 days. And the only reason I know that is because it was on Pro Football Reference and not because I'm a creep. I just happened to see that. And I'm repeating it to you. But I noticed, first of all, super involved in the offense. So he's playing a lot of the plays every year in and year out, has had years of success, has a high completion percentage. The downsides, though, he has taken like 40 or more sacks several seasons that he's been in the NFL. And while he has not sustained, say, a neck injury like a Peyton Manning, which ultimately probably shortened Peyton's career by, I believe, a couple of seasons. Like if you look at Peyton's sort of decline there at the end, it was like the last 3 years, he was a shadow of himself, where if you think like if just doesn't sustain that injury, perhaps he plays for 5 more years instead of just a 3 kind of lousy, no offense, even though he won a Super Bowl and walks away. Hey, like, great. That Denver defense was insane. Yeah. So that said, though, I have high hopes for the Colts because it's all upside from here. Stability at the quarterback position is the crux of what you can build around on, what you can do on offense, can install, can opt into, can have a check for, can talk to from the sideline without having to get too involved. You get what I'm saying, right? Isn't going to lose their cool in the heat of battle and get really selfish and make bad decisions. For what reason, right? Like there was a lot of that with Carson Wentz is when the sort of the game was up in the air. Carson Wentz, in my eyes, wasn't daring. He was taking miscalculated risks. And it's the way I play quarterback, because we're going to watch this on film and you're going to continue to watch me play. And as long as whatever's going on with my right hip isn't serious, I did come down today and I had to lay down and stretch myself out. But then, like I said, have had really good luck with injuries. Everything's been super minor and only been like a 2 or 3 day tour for me. But yeah, I feel like the way the draft is, the draft coverage is constant, and I have NFL Network on my TV like all day while I'm at work. So of course, what the Stampede Blues reporting to you is exactly what they're reporting on national news, where the Colts are taking top 30 interviews with wide receivers, with quarterbacks. Well, we knew that was going to happen, so it's not a surprise. I'm a big fan of Malik Willis. I want an athlete. I want somebody that you can bet on and make a play with the ball when everybody's just in coverage and they're soaking up your receivers. Hey, I want somebody that can just get you a 20, right? But stay upright, and then be able to sort of bounce off something if somebody does lay a shot, right? So you got to have a little bit of meat on you. But yeah, there's rumors, or not rumors, they're Stampede Blues reporting Carson Strong and Malik Willis, at least at the bare minimum. And then, like I said, there were receivers that we were also taking top 30 visits. And I believe even a corner we took
Cordale, the corner out of LSU, Cordale Flock.
Say it again?
Guy, I believe it's Cordale Flock. I don't know how to pronounce this.
And I'll look him up.
Cornerback out of LSU. He had a top 30 visit also with the Colts. Mm-hmm.
And SMU wide receiver Danny Gray, Romeo Daubs out of Nevada.
Out of Nevada, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Missouri State defensive lineman Eric Johnson. Oklahoma State cornerback Christian Holmes, who I like, by the way. I like really insane athletes. And Christian Holmes is like a really good athlete at a corner. Jalen Thomas at linebacker out of Ball State had a private workout.
I don't know. I don't know if you had a chance to like go through like the prospects a little bit, but I had.
Go ahead.
And I just wanted to ask you, like, who is your guy for like the not 42 overall pick? Like, who would be like your favorite pick there? Assuming you know
Oh,
he has to be available. Because I actually wrote an
there are,
article on that.
am I allowed? Is there an option where I can go, hey, I think the Colts are going to try to trade up into the first round using multiple picks? Can that just be
Yeah,
my?
sure.
That's what I think
And
the Colts are going to do. That's what I would do.
that
Is try to take a stab at this point. Just take a stab. What can we do to move up? And then who's available at that spot? Like fuck, like let's do it. Like I
who
think
would
it'll
be
happen.
like who would be like your ideal trade
I
up
would
candidate?
reach for a quarterback here.
So
Take a stab
which
as somebody that's got passed up. You got a willing trade partner. This is somebody we were going to call when we were on the board. I'm thinking if I'm
so
like, so playing quarterback is all precognition, right? You got to know what's going to happen before it happens. So is talking about football and Colts in the draft. It's all precognition. So if I'm thinking the Colts are going to trade up and do, there's not a receiver that we're doing that for. There's not, I can't think of
no edge rushers,
I can't
no
think of an edge
cornerbacks. So
rusher
you
that I
have
would
to
do that
yeah.
for. So my thought process is between 16 and 24, four-ish. The Colts package a deal, get into the 18th to 22nd pick and grab a quarterback, shock everybody that it's X, who Malik Willis. And the Colts like, damn, a super athlete to back up, super stable. So you know if Matt Ryan ever goes down, it sort of does open up your offense.
Yeah,
And
and
because
do you honestly like do you believe that Malik Willis is going to drop that far in the draft? I'm not sure
I
he's
have no clue. Like here's my problem right
yeah, I
now.
don't think
Okay.
he's leaving the top
Kenny
10.
Pickett is like a top 5 pick apparently now. And I'm sorry, when you watch him play, one of the things that he has to do before he throws a football is readjust. And it's because he has small hands. It's costing him a little bit of time, about a third of a second. And somebody's going to tear that apart in video. And I'm just going to be the first one to say it. The problem with a guy like Kenny Pickett is, and him having small hands and him wearing gloves is weather. Any sort of inclement weather, those gloves are trash. And that's his entire bread and butter, is that he's sort of making up having small hands. And I know I'm singing Bible and somebody's going to hear this and be like, holy shit, he's like fucking Nostradamus. It's going to cause him to fumble balls in bad weather, specifically in the rain. Anytime it's wet and cold, like cold and snowy, gloves turn to fucking concrete. So I refuse to wear gloves unless literally my team owner made me put on gloves at one of our first workouts because it was like 4 degrees outside. And he was like, bro, my fucking quarterback's not wearing no gloves. It's like 4 degrees out. Other than that, I don't wear gloves because I already know what happens, right? So that's part
Yeah,
of
but
being a
if you're
quarterback.
playing like at least, like we have if you're the Colts, you're playing 8 games in a dome, like for
Sure,
sure.
for sure.
Then you have like the Texans away, that's in a dome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Jacksonville, where you don't really have to worry about inclement weather. You don't have to worry about the cold in Jacksonville.
You say that.
You just
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying is that, hey, it is outdoors. You never know. And it could happen. That's why I'm saying a guy like Kenny Pickett, I wouldn't want, not for me anyway, but that we Colts don't have to worry about that because somebody's betting big on that. And that's fine. He's just a good enough athlete that I think he might be able to do something, specifically when he gets outside of the pocket, that a lot of guys don't do. And that is, he is very good at getting you yards downfield, whether it's throwing the ball,
yeah.
hitting somebody, or getting some yards with his feet. And then he also slides. He had the infamous fake slide
fake
for the
slide,
touchdown.
yeah. That was really
So
cool.
listen, I'm all about like the way this game is played, and a lot of people saw that as improper. But what I'm more worried about is you never want to give your opponent or the media or anybody should never have anything to say about your liabilities, right? And Kenny Pickett's liabilities are measurable, right? Even your boy's got 9-inch hands. I'm totally kidding. But I mean, I do. But Kenny Pickett with his little 8.5-inch hands with the gloves on, I'm telling you, that's going to matter in San Francisco in December when it's snowing and wet and that ball comes back, it goes right between your fucking hands because it does the same thing for my receivers. And when they all wear gloves and when it's bad weather outside, they come to me and they're like, Coach, that's what my nickname is, right? coach.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? The ball is slipping through my hand. Take your fucking gloves off. Get you a warming pad, put it in your hoodie, right? Keep your hands warm between plays. And then when I throw you the ball, make sure your hands are dry. But like you can't wear gloves when it's wet outside at all. And so think about, I understand that Michael Vick did that. Michael Vick and Kenny Pickett are not in the same class as far as being an athlete. So we can't even talk about those things.
Yeah.
And also Michael Vick also had bigger hands. He had like 9.5-inch hands. So in terms of like wearing gloves, I just think that if you look at Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, I get it. Tom Brady wears gloves. Tom Brady has raptor claws and has to wear gloves because his hands literally like hawk the football. It's part of the longevity in his career is the way you hold the ball affects everything. And that's something that I'm figuring out as we go through these practices that you'll see is figuring out how to hold the ball so that you can basically do the most with the least, right? It's effectively what we're trying to do.
The guy that I really like is Desmond Reader, the guy out of Cincinnati.
Hell yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch that one?
I watched his career.
He's the guy that I would like. He's the guy that I would like the Colts definitely to take.
Okay, so like a package some picks, reach for, stash this guy, like an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, allow him to like sit for a year or two before throwing him out there.
Yeah.
That's
because you definitely want to make sure that you have a little more depth along your offensive line before you get a young quarterback, because ultimately what you need for a young quarterback to be confident is a little bit of time. And you gotta, it's sort of with the pain of the league is that lots of teams aren't able to establish a strong starting quarterback and then also have a strong offensive line. Because if you really think about how that works out in the NFL, I mean, look at guys like Patrick Mahomes with no protection, or good luck to guys like Aaron Rodgers with little to no protection. It tells you how valuable outstanding quarterback play is, right? But doesn't ultimately stand up all too frequently over time, right? It tells you again how important great quarterback play is, and ultimately hitting the little shit, which is what we're about to watch my expose in. So let's do that. Let's watch them. So we chatted about the Colts at length. So we aren't making this I want to make sure I'm not making it about me, right? Because but here I'm gonna share my screen and we'll watch the combine, which was on March 12th, which is about a month ago, actually. Okay, so that's cool. About a month ago. Here's this is, I believe, my first recorded rec. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Screen's big on my end. Then I have the ability to just go to the next one. So this is a sprint out, right? Stop. And then
defensive back
DB
looks like he
nice
made
play.
a good. Yeah.
Yep. And he also checked in last second. So keep that in mind. And then a little behind. Guy came up in man, took away one of my reads.
Can we go over that last one again? It was a bit laggy.
It wasn't uncatchable. It was just behind him.
Okay.
It did. I mean, it hit him in the hands. It was just it was a little behind him. You know what I mean? You see me double clutch it. And kind of sidearm it. So not a great rep for me overall. Only thing you can hope for is improvement. Off his hands, maybe a little high, but only he could catch it. So it's not a terrible thing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't behind him, or no, it was behind him. So I guess that's sort of the problem, Jared. So then a bad ball. Yeah, it wasn't altogether, wasn't a great, although that was catchable.
Yeah, you gotta catch that one.
Although that was catchable. Let's see. I don't know who throws those. Can't tell on video, so I'm not gonna watch it rep. I don't know if they actually did it. Again, this is, I believe, sidearm. And
Yeah.
that defender is one of
did
our
he
better
drop that?
defenders. No, he caught it.
Okay.
And he's had some problems catching balls. This is Franklin, one of my hybrids. He's sort of like a wide receiver tight end for me. That's a good rep.
Nice
That's a
play.
good rep. That's a good rep for him. That defender is a step up from what he's probably used to seeing in coverage. Can't see who threw the ball. We're not going to watch the rep. That guy's hurt. Oh, shit. So like I said, it's very likely I'm going to be playing. Very likely. And if you watch film over time versus the other players, I think we're drawing the same conclusion. This is obviously a hitch to who I am expecting to be my number one receiver. That the camera pans away from and pans back to as he catches the ball, and which looked high, by the way. I think he drops this. Nope. Again, he's come out to not be much of a receiver. So that ball is outside and high, and he was looking back and in. Not great for, oh, wait, here's some live reps. It's your boy. Did have trouble with handoffs a little early. I like to think that's easy to solve.
Yeah, and
again, I think that was catchable. You'll notice that it was out in front of the receiver.
Are you like, I'm just getting like a weird like lag between like I'm not seeing the entire play. I'm seeing like a segment cuts out a segment, cuts out a segment. I
Oh,
don't know if it's
that's
just me.
unfortunate. Yeah, that's
or if it's like a problem with the.
Yeah.
Like
it's you. On my end anyway, it's fluid video, so I can kind of tell you what happens. You can pretend that you see it. I'm pretty good at saying I'm terrible at football.
Every other play is basically like cut out in parts where like you miss a few segments, where it's just like you throwing the ball and then like a second later it's the receiver dropping, and I'm like, what the hell happened in the middle here?
Right. Okay. It'll make it a little easier to kind of peruse it.
But yeah, so you were saying like, was the quarterback injured for the team? Was there an injury?
So there were 4 guys that came to the combine. There was an old man that it was like a former quarterback. He's in it well into his 40s. Came out. I haven't seen him since. Then there was Jeremy Bailing. He's sort of like an offensive assistant at Monrovia High School here, southwest of Indianapolis, by Mooresville, where I'm from. And then our offensive coordinator is the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at Mooresville High School, which has had back-to-back double-digit win seasons. So a pretty successful coach. Played offensive line at Michigan State. That's this guy in the lower left-hand corner signaling to me is a four-year offensive line starter from Michigan State, Bob Denton. So got a little bit of weight, a bit of a heavyweight. See again, you see my handoff's not pretty early, but we're hoping that we can. There was a, and again, this is the first practice. This is about a month ago. This is about 15 pounds ago too. So over the course of these practices that we watch, he didn't get shit. It's so funny. That dude, there's a receiver here that has been really passive aggressive toward me. And the beautiful thing about it is when you watch him back on film, he couldn't catch anything, and I haven't seen him since. And it's like, yeah, I keep asking about him and hearing that they're, it's just kind of funny, right? I think we're getting yelled at. Like I said, I agree with their initial assessment that not their best outing for me. But I like to think that over time, I think we're almost done here. Yeah. Play 81. Okay, so let's see. Like I said, I didn't think there was much left. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So and then March 17th. So this is again, it's about 3 weeks ago. That guy gets hurt. Jeremy Bailing got hurt. There's your boy. Keep in mind in this one, I'm wearing my girdle. So I have my like under pads on. So I have like a little mini shoulder pads that are meant to
Yeah.
be a buffer between that and your shoulder pads. And then it also has a chest piece, a back plate, and then a solar plexus plate. And then it also has the hip and thigh pads on the pants, the Under Armour. So I look even fatter than I am in these photos.
Those are some really cool pictures, though. It seems, yeah, you look cool with the shades and everything.
It
Some
was
nice
just sunny and like it's that or squint and probably miss a receiver. This guy was former Mr. Indiana football. This is Marcus Johnson. It's the current starter. Let's see. There you go. Oh, actually, I like a play like that, right? Ball is high outside right. I'm left-handed, throwing a slant. I think I was throwing a hitch to my left, and the ball is high outside right. So you see, I kind of pirouette and still hit the completion within like a 3 seconds, right?
He kind of cuts out, you know, where like same problem where I get like the snap, I get you catching the snap, and then I get the receiver with the ball in his hands.
Okay, so you at least know the answer to
I mean, I get,
the
yeah, I get the sequence, you know, I just don't get like the full picture here.
sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a problem like with Zoom or with, you know, my computer perhaps. But I get it like in 6 frames per second, you know, where I get like ta 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 ta.
Tough. All right, so let's see. Here's your boy. Handing off, little inside run. What's this? It's your boy behind center. It's my buddy Seth. Shout out Seth. He probably watched our podcast. And Noah Ponce, my little H back there on my left, your right, if you're watching this, in the yellow. His dad was a 4-year, his dad is our quarterback coach and was a 4-year safety at the University of Hawaii, David
Yeah.
Ponce. That's Juwan King. This is I actually don't know this guy's name. I need to learn that guy's name. It's Marcus. Wrapping it up. See, again, like I said, when you watch I was showing my wife when you watch the other players film, you'll notice a big difference when you watch my film. That's why we're losing what I say 60 pounds in 103 days, so now 105-ish days.
Yeah, that's what it does to you.
So see me just standing there, hands on hips, baby. Here we go. Move a little O. My starting running back right there is Rello Devontae. That's not even his real name, but he's a badass running back. That's pretty good.
Okay, now I'm getting like the full rep.
Oh, hey, nice. Again, you
I
can't even see if that was a
jinxed
completion. Yeah, right. Here we go. So this is, like I said, this is about 3 weeks ago. And again, probably about 12 pounds ago.
That was nice. Was it a completion, that one?
No, it was not a completion. It was not a completion. That changes, fortunately. And today will go a long way to helping me, because I don't think the other players are having as good a preseason as I am. I just have to watch. That was as I say that, I throw an interception, and my next rep, my very next rep, is also a pick, I believe. So this is the ultimate foot and mouth moment, brought to you by my second practice. Yeah, tipped off my Franklin's hands for interception. So of course, in the doghouse, as it were. So that was a completion. Good job, everybody. And then let's see here. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the last play of this practice, if I remember correctly.
Completion, right?
Yeah. Play 64. This is a slant to my outside receiver to my left. Ball was a little bit high, but ultimately he comes down with it clean. And I'm an arguer for anytime the receiver comes down with the ball clean and immediately doesn't get his fucking head taken off, that's okay ball, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's what you
okay
need
ball.
out of a quarterback position.
Yeah. He came down with that ball and didn't immediately die. All right. And that's my big thing is don't throw your receiver into a hole in the ground, right? Little inside run period, I believe. I've ordered shoulder pads and helmet. Brand new stuff. I like this ball.
Yeah.
Just a little two-step. Hit the guy outside over the shoulder in his left hands. And I'm not throwing as hard as I can on this cow pasture that I've been throwing on. Again, I'm just playing out here playing catch, baby. Again, slant to my right. That was on me. I think he was supposed to run a corner and he ran like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't cut a corner on that one. He's been kind of disappointing. Franklin, get your shit together. But this is 2 weeks ago. I think this is a slant to my right. Yeah, that's a pretty good slant to my right.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Again, we're on air, so we're not winning any, nobody wins any awards for completed passes on air. But again, it's supposed to be like ball out quick, and you'll notice. Ball's out in less than 3 seconds, I think, from my count. Which is sort of the barometer for, is your quarterback worth his shit, right? Is that ball getting out of their hand right quick? Little inside period. Gotta make sure we can do it, right?
Yeah. If you can't do that, you're in trouble.
Right. And I've definitely fumbled balls. My center is largely perfect. He's like a 99 percenter. All his snaps are usually good, but he's had one that went right through my fingers. One a little low to the right, and then they've all been misses to the right. So any of his misses have been to the right, which is something that you can sort of plan for. Like if he's gonna miss, he's gonna be to my right. Which sucks. I'm left-handed, but it sort of fuels that catch it, pirouette, hit that slant still. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that might be something I might have to do again. So when you watch it in film, it's not something you want to do. But again, if you're gonna miss on the snap, not on the throw, right? Again, this was I think somebody had told me to throw the ball. Okay. And if you watch, it's post separation. So I got just enough with my feet to let the receiver win, and they just dropped it. We are cruising through our phone. This is 49 of 58. Oh, we've got 2 full practices left. Okay.
yeah.
Plus a little Facebook film. By the way,
That was a completion, right?
yes. So this was a corner by Franklin, who, for the record, has had a little bit of trouble. So when you watch this, watch my shoulder dip and how it helped me in my eyes here anyway. So it's not all the throw, because the throw is good. But look at this.
Yeah.
Just drop it in the bucket over the corner under the safety. I could do that until I'm 100. You know what I mean? Like, that's not hard to do for me anyway. Throw a little touch, throw it between the defense. You know what I mean? That's one of the things you'll see me is I'm layering my throws. I'm throwing the ball over this guy, under this guy, catchable. Again, I'm old as fuck. And for the record, you know why I didn't throw this? I got yelled at for not throwing this ball to this outside receiver. Do you know why I didn't throw it? Look at this guy on the all the way left-hand side of the screen. And when you watch me roll out there, it's like I'm confused. Is that guy playing or not? No, not to make excuses, but in the moment, it's like, why wouldn't you just throw
Yeah,
the
you
out?
don't realize. Yeah.
Well, look why he didn't throw the out. He didn't see him. If I throw that
Yeah, I
ball
can
to
see.
him, that
Yeah.
tight end runs right into that guy. And so I didn't throw that ball. So this is one of those situations where it's like, this is a throwaway rep. But at least I threw the ball. I didn't put the ball in the defense's hands. I put it in my player's hands, right? I didn't get my tight end hurt. So there's a win for me. But if you see here, ball hit Franklin in the hands. Got to catch it, buddy. Got to catch those. I'm trying to rely on you, right? So here, I think, is my interception. They put Rello in here in the red jersey. I think. Yeah. And I threw it to a guy in a red jersey. And immediately was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I told the coach, like, yo, I got yelled at for a pick, but watch the film. I threw it to a guy in a red jersey, and a guy in a red jersey caught it. So I kind of feel like I did the right thing. And he was just like, oh, shit, we got to get the defense to wear different jerseys. You're right. By the way, caught.
Yeah, it's a completion.
I love the slants. I hit them, and I think it's an asset. It's about 10 pounds ago. We're in the 250s now, hoping to be under 250 by the end of the week ish. Maybe next couple weeks. First scrimmage April 23rd. I'm probably gonna end up playing in a backup set of helmet shoulder pads, and probably gonna get mixed reps at the scrimmage. So we'll see. Ultimately, what's gonna be a big factor is my mobility. So it doesn't look like my like football IQ is Wayne. You know what I mean? It's not that. It's not that I can't get the ball A to B. It's gonna be like you're gonna get killed the first time you get hit. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. trying to get in just good enough shape to avoid. Right? Oh, that was the same practice over again. Yeah, hold on. So here, it's about 10 days ago.
Yeah, rather recent.
Grind all day, baby. You see that? Ugh. Right away. Hit that little
Yeah, it was a
flare.
nice rep.
Yeah, for me, for my old ass. Yeah, that's a good rep, right? For my old ass, yeah, that's a good rep. That's Marquise Holt. It's one of my stable running backs. He's nice. But our O line, I mean, one of the problems we have is I brag about our O line, but they don't all show up to practice. But like I said, today I got an extra workout in with 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen, I'm guessing. Yep. Still, by the way, also still wearing the girdle. So like I said, on top of being fat, I'm also wearing.
You also had that, yeah.
Because it's just a matter of time before somebody wraps me up. It's just coming. And I'm wearing somebody's gonna eventually ask, I'm wearing low cut Nike Vapors until I hurt my ankle. It's funny, right?
It looks like you're barefoot there.
Right. Nobody wants to see that. I want to see you throw, Jared. So let's get to that shit. Ponce doing a little holding. We got a legitimate kicker too, so that's gonna be helpful. Let's see here. So that's a completion.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So again, one of the hallmarks, and again, I hate to thump my chest here. Scout quarterbacks, play quarterback, coach quarterbacks. One of the hallmarks of a pretty decent QB is someone that can throw across their body, like and in rhythm. To like, it's not with the defense does not expect me to be able to do that. They do not expect that. They're not going to expect that in a game. They're going to expect me to want to throw to my left. And so for me to be just like doing it, like I said, I'm certainly not the perfect quarterback prospect, but I do possess what I think are. That was a pick, by the way, is now a little less of a more of a tip ball. So we're working to eliminate. My last practice, by the way, was my best. So that's good.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, when you think about he drops that ball and it was kind of behind him. It's on me. It's Kenny. It's one of our guys. Hit one of my guys in the hands. So I don't know what the route was, but he caught it. So I'm guessing it was a hitch. But it was a completion. Completion or completable pass, right? Like that's kind of what I like to look at. It's one thing, like, did the guy catch it? That was a fade stop to my right again. And I like throwing it too, especially if you rip them off early when they come up in man and you burn
Yeah.
them with a quick fade, and then you come back with this. Again, this is to my right. It's about 15, 20 yards on the dot. Like I said, feeling ourselves, right? Let's see. I think we're back around. Nope. Okay. Yeah, we are. We're back around. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So this is past week's practice. Baby, just a little bit of film to review. And I think it's super interesting,
Coltist
right?
and
A
I.
podcast where the host actually still plays football. So first of all, how many of those are there? And then when you watch him play, isn't a totally worthless as a football player, right? Like, oh, he's not half bad, right? And then we've gotten to watch over time. So like I said, this guy was a Mr. Football candidate. I wish I knew his name. Came in and took second string snaps for me, which is fine because third string gets to also play with the starters. But so that's sort of fine, I guess. Hold on. One of these. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so he was second. Here I am. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was like a bad little like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a play. It's hard to see. I'm like far away. It's like, where's Waldo, right?
Yeah, I can see.
So I think this is to my left. Caught. So strips left. All hitches. And a completion. I think this is my nope, it's not. So here, this was an incompletion, and my the guy that I throw the ball to ran the wrong route. If he runs the right route, he's wide open. He was supposed to run a quick out, and instead he runs it in, and the defender shaded him to the outside, right? Shaded him to the outside,
Yeah,
and then
so
was
you
trying
want
to
to hit. Yeah.
close. If he cuts outside instead, he's wide open. Instead, he cuts across my face, and then of course, like, it ended up being incomplete. But outside of that rep, in my opinion, here's a touchdown, by the way. It's a quick, but basically we ran a little bubble screen. Or no, a quick
Yeah.
out. There's a little quick out for a touchdown to the apron to my left. So again, ball out quick, all the way to the sideline, like check. Right? And then this is my favorite play, a little jump
Yeah.
man for you. Ah.
Yeah. What was it, like 5 yards?
Yeah, it was to the tight end. Yeah, but complete. And again, I get it. Not all world, not, you don't see me stretching the field, but I'm also you're not being chided on the sideline, right? Nope. Completions are the king when you're passing in this league. Right? That makes sense, right? Like being able to.
Yeah, get the ball to the receiver.
That was his. By the way, here I was singing Killing 'Em Softly by the Fugees because they were complaining, oh, he's just taking the underneath shit. You know, they were calling, right? Like just doing with what I got to work with. And I was singing Kill 'Em Softly by Fugees. It's funny. Let's see here. This is a second window slant that I'm pretty proud of to my right.
Yeah.
Again, for 38 years old.
Yeah, not too bad.
That's not bad, man. We'll take that. It's a good rep. Something to be proud of. Again, it's to my right. So you're like not supposed to be like a proficient. And if you watch, I pump fake to the back to hit the second window slant. Bro, what? I act like I'm going to throw this ball to the running back. He did what? Hits a second window slant. Son, I tell you what. That's not awful, bro. Like that's not bad, my man. Not bad at all. Putting on a clinic, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
That was a fumble. That's my bad. By the way, this ball. The receiver runs the wrong route, by the way. And we got to make a play anyway, right? So this is called feathering a football. Do you see how it's over the defender's head and under the safety?
Yeah.
Which I'm watching the orange rover. Look where my ball lands. Catchable. Right?
Yeah, looks like it.
Despite him running the wrong route, getting banged, right? I'm sorry. That's not a bad rep. Hey, all things considered, hey, I think this is the background the first is play 2. All right. And then the last thing we got here, this was a workout from today. Sprint out left.
Yeah,
10-yard
nice.
out in stride. Something to be proud of, baby. We got a nasty kicker. Toe touch on a sideline.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, by the way. You see where that is, right? That's the 45, boys. And he hits it. So that was a 59 yards from the tee, which I believe they are like 4 yards off the ball. So it's like kicking from the 41. Pretty good. That's a pretty long field goal. It's like a 55-yard in-game field goal. So again, I don't even know our kicker's name. I feel bad, but he's pretty good. But yeah, so there, your podcast host does the thing. And I can stop sharing my screen now. So I appreciate you going through that with me. I'll have more Thursday. Oh no, are you still there?
Yeah.
Your
My
image kind of blurred a little. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad
went
you're
in
still
and
here.
out for a second. Yeah, still here.
Good. So yeah, I'm excited. The draft is I think 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks away. For us, so we should get another episode of our podcast with updated film and maybe a little more context as we get closer to the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get, I don't know, Colts can still sign players, right? So I guess
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
potential the
Sure. We
Colts
might
sign.
get.
The latest I'd heard, I'd kind of joked about in our Discord that what was the latest Colts news in terms of other players, and it was basically that we didn't gamble big enough on Calais,
Yeah.
and he went to Baltimore, which I hate to tell y'all, allowing a football team with Lamar Jackson on it to bolster their offensive line, not wise, not wise. Probably needed to keep that from happening and didn't. So Baltimore is going to be a tough out if Calais Campbell ends up being a productive member of their offense.
Calais Campbell plays defensive
He
line.
plays as soon as I said that, he's a defensive player.
Yeah,
I'm a
thought, like,
total
wait
idiot.
a minute.
But yeah, so if he is productive for Baltimore, that was a hell of a pickup. But apparently, like, the
Yeah.
Colts were in on that and got out. I'm sorry, my head. It's late.
It
It's like 10:30
sucks.
at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think, the last I'd really heard is that the Colts were in on those meetings and ultimately didn't pull the trigger. But I think, again, they did enough with Giannis Ngakoue, so good for him. And again, I think when we look back on this, all things considered, obviously injuries are factors, so we're kind of betting against. But I'm saying, like, these are going to end up being a pretty good free agent class for the Colts with respect to just those two guys. In terms of what they can do for your offense and defense, Matt Ryan and Giannis Ngakoue represent 2 or 3 games a year, and that's all you need to get into the postseason. And then you just need those people healthy. So that's a good spot to be in, right? Where, hey, at this point, it's just, can you keep them healthy for the end of the year? And yeah, again, I want to make sure I bring that up, though. One of the things that I noticed that journalists have done is sort of dehumanize the athlete to the point where you can't relate to them anymore. And I think, especially with something like COVID-19 that's going on, of which is affecting so many people, I think we're kind of beholden as members of the media to lead with empathy and try to first think about other people before we open our mouths and insert our foot. And I think recently Gil Brandt made some really insensitive comments in the wake of the death of Dwayne Haskins. And I just want to make sure that, one, I'm not sitting here bashing Gil Brandt. I'm not here to do that, but I am here to make sure that in 2022, if you're going to have a platform, some sage advice, lead with empathy. It'll get you a lot farther. And this comes from somebody that's, like, interviewed Pat McAfee and Eric Ebron, and, like, I've gotten to do a lot of things in media just by being, like, a nice person. And, like, they've come to me, for the record. You want to talk about the ultimate slam your dick on the table? Those were emails that were in my inbox. I didn't go to them and beg for a fucking interview like a lot of Colts content creators do. Those people sent me an email and said, do you want to have a half-hour phone conversation with someone like Pat McAfee, or go sit down with Eric Ebron? Those were opportunities presented to me through Stampede Blue. So we always want to make sure we say, hey, thanks to our not necessarily like our corporate overlord, but sort of like the people that we are affiliated with, right? That we kind of make this podcast and post it through. So I want to make sure I say, like, if you live in the Midwest and are still interested in football in any way, I have a feeling it's going to be an interesting journey for this team, and probably worthy of following. I wish I had better information about where we're going to play our home games and whether or not I was going to be the guy under center. And I don't know the answer to those things yet, which is sort of unfortunate. A couple weeks from your first scrimmage, you can beg for continuity, I guess. These are the kinds of things that I think hopefully will work themselves out in the wash. Like I said, with the kind of film that I put out, and then when you go back and if you did that same thing for the other guys that are playing quarterback and just look at their reps, their overall quality of reps are not as high. And I think that if you're a coach, you watch those reps, you have to recognize that. And if you're not, then it's on some other shit. And I don't have time for that. So we're about to find that out pretty shortly. And I know that there are people that I'm affiliated with on this team that watch our podcast, listen to our podcast. I hope that y'all watch film. And that's all you can really ask of your teammates, is to be as invested in this as I am. And when I watch film, I got a big lump in my throat. You know what I mean? A lot of men wonder if they still have it and spend a lot of time sitting around thinking about what would happen. And I get it. I've narrowed that argument down to playing quarterback, but I got film to back it up that at 38, like, all right, you could win a football game. A couple of them slants, you only need a couple of them a game. That'll win you. Because if he's hitting outs and slants, guys that are open, all the other shit is going to be there. But you'll be able to do whatever you want if you hit the simple things. And that's what I'm trying to lay a foundation of, is just hit the simple shit, hit the shit they're calling, right? Because I guess I'm sort of leaving behind like the elder quarterbacks playbook, right? Like I'm not begging for the starting job. I'm not making a scene. I'm putting my nose down. I'm letting the leader lead. I'm letting the first string quarterback, Marcus, is very vocal. And I'm just letting him be the first string quarterback and just kind of, and I wouldn't say taking my lumps, for the record. I'm still getting a lot of reps with starters. And when you look at it on film, like I said, I'm having a good time. Again, one of the things I was also going to say in the wake of the Gil Brandt thing, the insensitive comments about in the wake of Dwayne Haskins death. I'm at my age, what I would consider like a lucky human being to be playing football at 38 years old, right? That I'm capable of doing those things. It has been a rocky fucking ride for about a little over 90 days. Small tissue injury after small tissue injury, trying to find the right workout path for me. And I can only imagine having all the pressure of being like an NFL player, specifically an athlete, and having like consistent small tissue injuries. And it's just something I want to make sure I say on my podcast. Like I'm empathetic to that, because my right hip is killing me. I'm sure when I stand up, I'm gonna be limping around for a couple of days. I tried to roll out to my right and hit a out to my right. And when I came down, I landed squarely on my right leg only. And what ended up hurting was my right hip. Right. So none of my other leg. Right. So I ended up on the ground after that, rolling around, not like hurt, but like just trying to stretch that hip out. And was like, fuck it, I'll stretch the ball out. But yeah, on the whole, it feels like you're dodging bullets, right? When you come up limp and it goes away in a day or two, it's like, fuck, thank God. But I have to attribute being able to stay positive to a lot of it has to do with my diet. And the fact that I go about 20 hours every day without eating. The focus on that is recovery. So the reason, part of the motivation to fast daily is to maximize your body's ability to replenish cells. Things like these little small tissue injuries I keep coming up with because of even at my advanced age, because of my diet, I'm getting through like a hamstring pull, for example, in a little over 2-3 days. And like Thursday was definitely my best practice. I was nursing a hamstring, and then it just felt like a deep thigh bruise yesterday. I'm sorry. I have a thigh. Yeah, a thigh, not a hamstring. Had like a pulled, yeah. Anyway, so the point is that it didn't last weeks and sit me down, right? And it's about finding out what's like the right way to work out. I'm not a nutritionist or here to tell anybody how to exercise, but I am here to encourage you to do it. It has been very beneficial to me as somebody older trying to play a sport that you haven't played in a while. I like to think those kettlebells are saving my life, right? Right? They're giving me just enough, and I'm excited also to say. So part of what I've done on the way down here to lose like 60 pounds is I'd been trying to figure out like a pattern to my exercising. And what I'm into now is what I would call the highest frequency of exercise for me. As we get toward the beginning of the season, I'm in the process where I'm thinking I'm like being as active as anyone else that is playing football is being active in terms of days of the week, right? Because where I'm at now is lift Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, full body, practice Thursday, take Friday off, right? Because you either have a game Saturday or it's the day after practice. And then either Saturday or Sunday also go out. So that's 5 days a week, no matter what, that I'm doing either physical activity or straight up exercising in my living room on a yoga mat, son, before work. But yeah, I appreciate, Mateo, you sitting with me, man. Let me ramble.
Fuck, I'm muted.
You're
Fuck,
mute. I thought you were muted because you're
yeah,
like,
because I sneezed. I sneezed like 3 times, and I was like, oh shit, I better get muted before I ruin this. And fuck, I said, always a pleasure, sitting here with you.
fuck yeah, man.
Fuck,
I'm having a good time. The world may be absolutely crazy, but this has been a fun time for me. Like I drove like probably an hour and a half, just like you were talking about driving a long way to work. So I probably drove like an hour and a half to do that workout today. The video I showed you on that red turf field that I got to play on today, super dope. It was about an hour and a half away. There was only like 5 or 6 people there. Half of the team ownership was there. So it's important. It was important in my eyes that you're there with those people, right? Be with the right people. The shit you hear growing up. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I don't know, man. I'm fucking excited. It's one way or the other, I'm gonna get an opportunity on that field, and whether it's in relief, right, or the start. Obviously, you want to earn the starting job, right? Would be the goal. Especially, I had a pretty nice beginning to my coaching career, but I feel like what would be a better boon to my coaching career is helping the team that I start out with establish a foundation at quarterback, because that will help your team in so many ways. Solving for quarterback for even just a little while will bring more players to you naturally, like more better players, because they're like, hey, even at the semi-pro level, this is the same thing in the NFL. In case y'all are wondering why your team can't get anybody to come play for you, it's because your quarterback's ass. So that's the problem. Even at the semi-pro level, is that guys are hesitant to involve themselves if the guy slinging a rock's not going to be the dude. But yeah, we are garnering our forces. So I think we had over 35 players at our latest practice, which is a lot, and that's a lot to feel good about. So team's in a good spot. I again feel like the Colts are in a good spot, and then like I said, it's awesome to sit here with you and go through this. Obviously have a podcast together, but more to like just go through the experience together. Especially in the digital age, being able to like watch film that's super cool.
That's really cool.
I've never gotten to see myself play football before. So like third game, you know what I mean? Like a VHS from when I was in high school, you know what I mean? That's 20 years ago this year. Isn't it crazy? I started playing football 30 years ago this year. And also, this is my 20th year high school reunion is this summer. And I'm also returning to football. That's a big summer, right? Especially if it pops off, right? And we have a few months of glory.
Who knows,
wouldn't that be some? Hey, just pray for good health, I guess, if you pray. I think you just pray to be here. This has been Jared and Mateo from the Coltist, episode 26. Please, if you don't, follow the YouTube channel. We don't have a big ask outside of that. It's really not like Stampede Blues cool. That's what we talk about the Colts over there. You should check out that website.
Definitely.
Really, other than that, have a great week.
And see you all next week.
Go Colts.